to the late night show with Shafiz. My name is Shafiz and I am your host for tonight. So, in tonight's late night show with Shafiz, we would like to talk about the Arabic culture. And for the sake of the theme, let's do the whole thing all over again. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Sayyidati wa sadati, marhaba bikum fi al-ma'rif al-layl ma'a akhir al-layl ma'a Shafiz. Ana ismi Shafiz wa ana al-madif al-khas bika. هذا الليل وسوف تنطلق بك إلى رحلة عبر الثقافة العربية. مرحبا بيناتك سيدتي وصاحبتي. ضيفنا لهذه الليلة هو إساء. هو طالب دولي من اليمن الذين له هنا الليلة الحديثة عن ثقافته. إساء، أنت مريح إذا كان تتحدث باللغة الإنجليزية؟
نعم ليس مشكلة.
ليس مشكلة.
I can speak English.
The guy speaks English.
Yes, I can speak English.
Alright, so Isam, how long have you been here in New York?
I think it's almost 7 months now. Been here in New York.
7 months.
7 months.
Nice. So have you ever left Yemen before?
No, this is actually my first time going outside of Yemen and actually live in the country.
University, Al-Jabra. So when you first moved into the dorms, how was it?
When I first moved into the dorm, okay. Well, I was assigned with the American roommate, which is he's a guy. I mean, of course he's a guy because you know. but people who live next door actually women. So which is for me it's really weird because in my back home in Yemen, in my country, we don't really mix men and women like together like that. But here they mix them, and for me it is really weird at first, but I'm getting used to it now.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Pretty ladies walking up and down the hallway.
Yes.
It's good. Alright, talking about Yemen, the location, I see that there's a lot of confusion, especially among the Americans and Arab nations too, that we don't really understand what the Arab nations are made of. So can you tell us more about the Arab nations in general in terms of locations?
Well, the area of the world that, I mean, for the Arab nations, so basically the area of the world that encompasses the region from the Atlantic Ocean and near Northern Africa east to the Arabian Sea. So it is the country that countries like Yemen, like Jordan, Tunisia, Libya,
I see.
by many more.
So how different is the Yemeni culture or the Arab culture compared to the American culture? You can share with us 3 of the main things that just pops out of your head right now.
Okay, the first one that is like the most difference is the family. Like in the Arabic culture, family comes first. Like family is like the most important part of the society. What I mean family is like right here, the family, they usually see family as like parents, father, mother, and the siblings, and that's basically it for the family. But in Arabic culture, like if you say like family, like it also includes the cousins and like the grandfather, and it's really like these kind of big connections. So in Arabic culture, the family is really big and it's really important. Like usually they will stay together in one house. Even sometimes after they're getting married, they will stay in their parents' house because the family come first. And second one is the like I said before, like they will really mix man and woman, like in certain things. But like here, even in event, like they have event like
girls at the back.
Yeah. They will super like the man and woman, but in here they kind of like
just mix it all.
They mix it all together. So like I think that's one difference for the difference in our culture, Arabic and the here. And one more thing that difference is I can say like the punctuality. I mean like the time. Like here in America, like people are very punctual. Like if you say like you want to meet at 8, the people will be there at 8. But in Yemen, like you have this Yemeni time, Yemeni time. Like you say like 8, and maybe you will meet at maybe 8:30 or maybe 9. Usually late. So yeah.
So what time did you set to come here?
I'm following your time because I'm here right now.
Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, I didn't brought Isam here just to talk about his culture and everything. We would like to discuss also about to debunk the common stereotypes that people have. There are nations, there are people, there are culture and everything. So you guys might want to enjoy our next video that we made earlier. Is about where we debunk the stereotypes. So we hope you guys enjoy. Gentlemen, now let's talk about the most common misconceptions and stereotypes that the majority of the people around the world has towards the Arab culture and the Arab nations. So we have Isam here, who has been in Yemen for his entire life, and he just got out of his country 7 months ago to study here in New York. So let's start off. Number 1, all Arab people are Muslims.
No, that is not true. Because just because Islam is the biggest religion in the Arab world doesn't mean that every Arab is a Muslim. There are other religion in Arab world, such as the Christianity and Judaism. So you might see a Arab looking guy, but he not necessarily supposed to be Muslim, because
So
keep in mind that they can embrace other religion too. So
I see.
Keep in mind that. Okay.
Cool. So number 2, all Arab nations are backwards and uncivilized.
No, that is also not true, because as you know, the tallest building in the world, the Burj Al Arab in Dubai.
I thought it was here in New York.
No.
Yes.
You guys don't have that. Even the oil we get from us.
Oh, with oil. That hurts.
Okay.
Let's move on.
Yeah. So like I was saying, Arab countries not backwards or uncivilized. They're very like complex structured. It was structured and civilized. So yeah, it's not true. No.
Right. So the Arab world, number 3, the Arab world is made mostly out of deserts.
Nah, astaghfirullah, akhi. That is just not true, man. Because just because we have like some desert over there doesn't mean that that what made the whole Arab countries. So it's not true, like, because like it's like Morocco, we have rich with green land, and you know.
Yeah, I see, cool.
Yeah, so
Alright, so lastly, I think this one is very, very true. Right, all Arab men have beards.
you need help.
I mean,
man.
look at
you need help.
I mean, look at that. Come on.
No, you need help, man. That's
Come on.
that's not true. That's not true. Okay, just because people have beard doesn't mean that they're supposed to be Arab, right? So because all key men in this world have beard, like Albert Einstein, Abraham Lincoln.
I see. Like even George Washington.
George Washington.
The founding fathers of the American society.
You yourself know that, so
that makes sense.
Having a beard is a
So
man.
Abraham Lincoln is Arab?
See, no. No, you get that thing confused, man. So not necessarily Arab to have a beard. So yeah, having a beard is a man thing, not an Arab thing. So everybody can have a beard. Every man should have a beard. And you should be ashamed if you don't have one. Okay. So no, that's a total misconception.
Actually, I think George Washington is Arab.
Nah. Whatever, man. Okay.
We'll be back after commercial.
Alright.
تعبا من التوابل الخاصة بك مع قفط هرجي. أنت لا تحتاج إلى مزيج التوابل الخاصة بك.
أقضي وقطع أقل في مطبخ مع كفتة هرتي.
كفتة هرجي مشهور لذيذ.
So settle down now, alright? So, now, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to bring our discussion to something less serious. So, let's talk about what everyone's been having in mind right now. Let's talk about food, especially Arabic food. If I were to come to a friend's house, which is an American, right now, and I'm gonna be served with something like that. I'm gonna be served with something very, very delicious. But if I were to come to your house, right now, in Yemen,
Yemen, okay.
What's gonna
If you come to my house, like not just me or my father, my whole family will make sure that we will feed you like you never eaten before. No?
I see.
Like we will make sure, because that's part of our culture in Arabic culture. We will make sure that we take care of our guests very in a very polite manner. We will make sure that we will serve the best to our guests. So like if you come to my house, we will serve you like this special special coffee. We will give you special food. We will give you hopes. Like if you have a camel, baklava. if we have a camel, like we will slaughter the camel and we will give it. We will serve that to you. That because that's part of our culture and yeah, that's basically what will happen if you come to my house. And you're not just gonna go to my house to just eat like one meal. We will give you like the whole course meal, like from appetizer to the main meal, and we will give you the service. Basically everything you will get.
I see. Right.
You can live. You can sleep in my house too if you want.
Oh really?
Yeah, because it's part of the culture. We really appreciate the guests. So yeah.
So I can stay as long as I want to.
Yeah, you can stay if you want, as long as you want.
I see. Alright, so my resources tells me that you have a YouTube channel for a cooking show.
No.
So
that's true. I like cooking.
Oh, so you love cooking?
Yeah.
Alright. So before we end the night, I would like to say thank you very much for coming over to our show.
My pleasure.
Thank you very much for coming over. So, ladies and gentlemen, before we end the night, I would like to show you one of his videos from YouTube. Alright, so enjoy the night, and thank you very much. This has been Shams, and this is the late night show. You Shams.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Marhaba. أنا في مطبخ في بيتي. اليوم سأعرض أنتم كيفية طبخ كفتة كباب مع خبز العربي. Tonight I'm gonna show you how to cook kafta kebab with pita bread, college student style. Okay, now I am going to introduce antum with the answer or the ingredients for this recipe. So the first thing that we need to have is the laham al-mafroom, which is the minced meat. So you can use either laham bakarah, laham khuruf, or laham dajaj, which is the beef, lamb, or chicken. Duns, which is the parsley, which is very important in doing this recipe. Kafta seasoning, wa falfal, salt and pepper. So these two guys are like the most essential things in every cooking, so that's why we're gonna use them. Then we go into the tawabil, which is the spices. So for this recipe, the spices that we're going to use is the cumin, which is the cumin, and kazbura, which is coriander seed. And also for this recipe I'm using harif, which is the cayenne pepper. This is actually optional. I use this because I want it to be spicy. So the yellow onions, use the onions to add some flavors to it because it has some special flavors that the onion provides to the meat. Okay, now after we prepare the meat, we have to chop the basal. Make sure that you chop them really small, really fine. It's almost like you kind of blend the onions. You have to make sure that you break them all into like small pieces. Then we can mix the onions into the meat. Parsley. So just put them like then we're gonna add some salt, falfel, the pepper, seasoning. This one. Cumin. Then we put the coriander, a bit of cayenne to make it spicy. Next thing we're gonna like mix them together with our bare hands. Using your hands, you can use spoon or whatever you want, but using hand is better. Do now is to divide this whole thing into smaller pieces that is ready to be cooked. Put them like that. Yeah. So this recipe is basically really simple. You don't really have to do much work, it's just like really easy. After what, like 5 to 7 minutes, you can pick them up. The last step that we have to do is just put the meat on top of the pita bread. And usually people will put some vegetables like lettuce, tomato, onions, olives, also on top of the pita bread. Mix them together. But this is like the most basic kafta kebab with pita bread, and then you just have to wrap it like this, and there you have it. your email.